The history of gamefowl bloodlines is deeply connected to culture, selective breeding, and the long-term pursuit of quality traits. One of the most respected and historically significant bloodlines in poultry heritage is the Albany Gamefowl Bloodline. In this educational documentary, we will explore the origin, historical background, development, and influence of the Albany bloodline, focusing on facts, breeder records, and ethical poultry knowledge. This video is created strictly for educational and historical purposes only, aiming to preserve information and promote responsible discussion of poultry bloodlines. Transparency is important. While Albany is widely recognized in poultry history, variations exist due to decades of selective breeding and regional adaptation. This documentary does not promote or encourage harmful activities. Instead, it focuses on heritage, genetics, and responsible poultry management. Understanding the Albany Bloodline. The Albany Gamefowl Bloodline is historically classified as a hatch-type strain, though it developed its own identity through consistent selection and breeding programs. Albany Gamefowl became known not because of mass production, but because of discipline in breeding, where only birds meeting specific standards were retained. Over time, this created a line that breeders could recognize for its physical uniformity, behavioral consistency, and adaptability. What separates Albany from other hatch strains is its balance, not extreme in one trait, but reliable across many. Origin of the Albany Gamefowl Bloodline. The Albany bloodline traces its roots to the United States, particularly during the early to mid-20th century, when structured breeding programs became more common. The name Albany is widely associated with breeders who operated near or around areas bearing that name, following the common tradition of naming poultry lines after locations or breeder origins. Albany Gamefowl developed from hatch foundation stock, which itself came from earlier American and European poultry influences. Hatch birds were valued for their strong frame, stamina, and adaptability. Albany breeders refined these traits further through selective pairing and long-term observation. Rather than constant crossbreeding, Albany breeders emphasized line consistency, structural soundness, behavioral stability, environmental adaptability. This approach helped preserve the identity of the Albany strain across generations. Early development and breeding philosophy. Early Albany breeders followed a closed or semi-closed breeding system. This means only birds meeting specific standards were bred. Weak or inconsistent traits were gradually removed. Records and observation played a critical role. The goal was not quantity, but quality and predictability. Albany breeders focused on medium to large frame size, balanced posture, strong legs and feet, alert but manageable temperament. Over time, this careful selection created birds that were recognizable and reliable, which helped Albany gain respect among poultry enthusiasts. Physical characteristics of Albany Gamefowl. While variations exist today, traditional Albany Gamefowl often share the following physical traits: medium to large body frame, broad chest and shoulders, strong, well-balanced legs, smooth feathering, typically red or dark reddish plumage, though shades vary. Albany birds are often described as clean-built, meaning their structure appears proportional and well-aligned rather than exaggerated. These traits made Albany birds adaptable to different climates and management styles. Behavioral and temperament traits. From a behavioral standpoint, Albany gamefowl have historically been known for alertness without excessive aggression, consistency in movement and posture, strong survival instincts. This balance made them easier to manage under controlled environments compared to more temperamental strains. It is important to note that behavior varies depending on handling, environment, and breeding quality, not just bloodline alone. The role of Albany in poultry history. Albany gamefowl played a significant role in American poultry breeding history, especially as a foundation or influence line. Because of their balanced traits, Albany birds were often used to improve structural consistency, enhance adaptability, stabilize temperament. This made Albany a valuable reference point for breeders looking to maintain or refine quality in their poultry programs. Spread and regional adaptation. As Albany bloodlines spread beyond their original breeding areas, they naturally adapted to local climate, feeding systems, management practices. This resulted in regional variations, where Albany birds might look slightly different depending on location. However, core traits such as balance, structure, and consistency were often retained. In regions outside the United States, Albany bloodlines were sometimes blended with local strains, creating Albany-influenced lines rather than pure Albany stock. Modern Albany gamefowl. Today, finding pure Albany bloodlines is more challenging due to decades of crossing and commercialization. However, many breeders still maintain Albany-based programs that preserve key characteristics. Modern Albany birds may show slight differences in size or color, improved adaptability to modern feeding, enhanced health management traits. Responsible breeders today emphasize genetic transparency, ethical poultry care, long-term sustainability. Importance of transparency in bloodline discussion. Transparency is essential when discussing poultry bloodlines like Albany. Not all birds labeled Albany are genetically identical. Over time, crossbreeding, environmental adaptation, breeder preference have influenced outcomes. This documentary encourages viewers to ask questions, seek documented breeding practices, avoid misinformation. True poultry education is based on honesty, observation, and responsibility. Responsible and ethical poultry management. This video does not promote harmful or unethical practices. Responsible poultry management includes proper housing, clean water, and nutrition, veterinary care when needed, ethical breeding decisions. Preserving a bloodline is not about exploitation, but about respecting heritage and animal welfare. Common myths about Albany. Gamefowl. Myth 1. All Albany birds are the same. In reality, variations exist due to regional breeding and selection. Myth 2. Albany is superior to all other lines. Every bloodline has strengths and limitations depending on purpose and management. Myth 3. Bloodline alone determines quality. Environment, nutrition, and breeder skill play major roles. Why Albany remains relevant today. Albany remains relevant because it represents discipline in breeding, balance over extremes, heritage preservation. In an era of rapid breeding trends, Albany reminds poultry enthusiasts of the value of patience and consistency. Educational value for modern breeders. For modern poultry keepers and breeders, Albany offers lessons in long-term selection, genetic stability, ethical breeding philosophy. Understanding Albany is not about copying the past, but learning from it. Conclusion. The Albany Gamefowl Bloodline stands as an important chapter in poultry history. Developed through careful selection, discipline, and respect for structure and balance, Albany represents more than just a name. It represents a breeding philosophy. This documentary aimed to provide a clear, transparent, and educational overview of Albany's origin and history, without exaggeration or misinformation. By preserving accurate knowledge and promoting ethical discussion, we help ensure that poultry heritage remains respected for future generations. Thank you for watching Chicken Matter Talks. If you enjoy educational and historical poultry content, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, comment which bloodline you want us to explore next. Together, let's promote responsible breeding, transparency, and heritage preservation.